So let's talk a little bit more about the fetal pig heart. As I mentioned before, the fetal pig heart is similar to our heart in many ways. It has 4 chambers. The flow of blood is the same. So let's talk about it a little bit more. Those of you who go on to take human anatomy and physiology will probably talk about human hearts a little more, and this is a nice primer for that. So again, the heart is made up of 4 chambers, 2 atria. There's a right atrium, a left atrium, and then 2 ventricles, a right ventricle and a left ventricle. Again, the flow of blood through the heart basically occurs when first the vena cava, which is a vein. It's actually here in blue. Some of you may have noticed blue inside the pig. The pigs were dyed with a latex dye, and it turned any deoxygenated blood blue. So the vena cava stained blue here. That's going to carry blood from the body into the right atrium. From the right atrium, blood then gets pumped into the right ventricle. And then from the right ventricle, blood gets pumped out of this tube right here. This is the pulmonary trunk. And again, the pulmonary trunk is going to carry blood away from the heart and towards the lungs. And in the lungs, the blood will then get oxygenated. From the lungs, the blood then returns to the heart, and this time it's going to go to the left atrium here, and then from the left atrium, blood then enters into the left ventricle. Once blood is in the left ventricle, it will be pumped out of the left ventricle into the aorta. You can see a portion of the aorta here. It is this tube right here. So again, you've got vena cava here in blue. This is the pulmonary trunk, and in between the two, what you're seeing here is the aorta. It's hard to see much of the aorta because it actually curves behind the heart. It's a large, large artery, right? There are structures inside the heart we're not going to take a look at, but I will say there are valves inside the heart, bicuspid and tricuspid valves. There's also something called the semi-lunar valves, which if any of you take an anatomy course will probably learn to recognize those structures as well.